welcome you. We're jumping straight into something really fundamental today, market research.
Yeah, how it fuels successful products.
Exactly. We're looking at insights from a cognitive market research article, and it really gets into why research is so important, at every single stage.
From the very first spark of an idea, right through to making tweaks after it's already out there.
hmm And our goal here in this deep dive is to basically give you a clear picture of how businesses actually use this research.
How they figure out what people genuinely need so they can build products that, well, people actually want and that stand out.
Think of it as a shortcut, maybe, to getting clued in on a really key part of business.
And it's not just like a nice to have. It really makes a difference.
Oh, massively. There was that McKinsey survey, wasn't there? 2023.
Yeah, that's the one. Companies that really lean into market research
Yeah.
comprehensively.
They're 60% more likely 60 to nail customer satisfaction and have long-term success.
It's huge. It just shows you need to understand the big trends, sure, but also the nitty-gritty of what individual customers are after.
Okay, so let's unpack it. The article really stresses that market research isn't just step one.
No, it's the bedrock. The whole foundation for building something good.
It's how companies find out what people need, what's trending, using things like
Well, surveys?
surveys, yeah, interviews, focus groups, all those tools to really get inside customers' heads.
Right, because just going on your own assumptions, that's risky, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The article's clear. You can waste so much time, so much money, building something nobody actually wants just because you thought it was a good idea.
So it's about validating those gut feelings. But it's not just about customer needs, is it? What about the competition?
That's another huge piece. Market research is like your intelligence on the competitive field.
Seeing what rivals are doing.
Exactly. What are their strengths? What are they doing well? But maybe even more important, where are they messing up?
Their weaknesses. Yeah. Customer complaints, things they're not doing, those gaps, that's your opportunity.
Like if their product keeps breaking.
Perfect example.
Yeah.
If you see loads of negative feedback about durability for a competitor, well, maybe you focus on making yours super robust.
And you shout about that robustness in your marketing.
Precisely. It becomes a key differentiator.
So the article kind of frames it as both a map and a guide.
A map showing the territory and a guide helping you navigate it to find your unique spot.
Makes sense. So what are the main ways companies actually do this research, the methods?
Well, the article talks a lot about combining two main types, qualitative and quantitative.
Okay. Qual and quant. What's the difference, essentially?
So qualitative think, focus groups, deep interviews, maybe even watching people use things in real life, ethnographic studies.
Observing behavior.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's really gold in the early stages. It helps you understand the why, the motivations, the feelings, the preferences. People might not even be able to articulate easily.
Like the health drink example they mentioned.
Yeah. You don't just ask, do you like strawberry? You dig into why they like certain ingredients, what packaging catches their eye, what their health goals really are.
You get the rich story behind it.
Exactly. Then you need the quantitative side.
The numbers.
Right. Surveys, questionnaires, reaching much bigger audiences. This is where you validate those initial hunches.
You quantify things, like how many people actually prefer this flavor or what price point feels right.
Precisely. You get statistical backing.
Yeah.
So qual gives you the story, quant gives you the scale. You really need both for the full picture.
And it's not just about asking opinions, right? What about A/B testing? Online tests.
Good point. Those are more about observing actual behavior.
Seeing what people do, not just what they say.
Exactly. A/B testing, for instance, show two versions of a web page, see which one gets more clicks. Super direct feedback.
Maybe testing button colors or ad headlines.
Yeah, those kinds of granular things.
Yeah.
And online product testing lets you get reactions to different features or designs in a digital space before you commit fully.
Okay, so you've done the initial research, you've got these insights. How do they actually, bake them into the product design?
It's got to be continuous.
Yeah.
That's the key takeaway, not a one-off.
Right.
As you start designing, building prototypes, those early versions you need to keep getting feedback.
So show people the prototypes.
Absolutely. Get something tangible in their hands.
Hmm.
Test it. That's how you find the flaws, the bits that don't quite work before you spend a fortune.
Like that smartphone beta program example, giving it to tech fans first.
Perfect example.
Yeah.
Those early adopters really put it through its paces. They find bugs, suggest improvements on design, performance, everything.
Real world testing.
Yeah. And that feedback loop, test, learn, adjust, test again, that iterative process is what leads to products that people actually love because users help shape them.
Makes sense. Now, you mentioned competition earlier. How does digging into what they're doing specifically influence your own product?
It's crucial context. You look at their product strengths, definitely learn from what they do well,
But also the weaknesses?
especially the weaknesses. What are customers complaining about? Where are the gaps in their offering? That's where you can potentially swoop in.
So back to the durability thing, if they're weak there, you go strong.
Exactly. Or maybe you spot an unmet need nobody's addressing properly.
Like sustainability, maybe, if no
Yeah.
one's doing eco-friendly well?
Right. If you see a growing demand for sustainable options and competitors aren't delivering, that's a massive opportunity to position your product uniquely.
And understanding their positioning helps you define yours too.
Totally. Knowing how they talk about their product helps you figure out how to talk about yours differently, how to highlight your unique value.
Okay, so research done, feedback incorporated, competition sized up. What about the testing before the big launch?
Research doesn't stop there. You need to see how the almost finished product lands in the real world.
Pilot launches.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Release it to a small, specific group first. See how they use it, find any last-minute kinks, get that real-world data before going wide.
And even before that, concept testing, is that showing people the idea?
Pretty much. Showing the concept, maybe a description, a visual, a really basic prototype to potential customers.
And asking.
Asking about the perceived value. Do they like the features, the design? Would they actually buy it? Getting feedback early on the core concept.
So you can tweak it before heavy investment.
Precisely. All this testing lets you make data-driven decisions, refine the product, and just, well, reduce the risk before the big rollout.
Okay, product's refined, nearly ready. Now, positioning it, making people want it. How does the research feed into that?
It's absolutely fundamental. That deep understanding you've built up about your customers, their needs, their values, what makes them tick, that dictates how you talk about the product. Your messaging, your marketing angle, it all comes from that insight.
So if research showed huge interest in eco-friendly,
You lead with that. You emphasize the sustainable materials, the ethical production, whatever it is that resonates based on your research. You speak their language.
and it helps pick the right marketing channels too.
Definitely. Are your target customers glued to Instagram? Do they respond better to email marketing, online ads, in-store demos?
The research tells you where to find them.
Right. So you focus your budget and effort where it actually works. It ensures the right people see the right message.
It feels like market research isn't just about playing defense, avoiding mistakes. It sounds like it actively drives innovation.
It really does. By keeping a finger on the pulse of the market, spotting new trends, understanding how needs are changing.
You can be proactive.
Exactly. You can anticipate what's next, develop products that meet future needs, not just current ones. That gives you a serious competitive edge.
And we keep coming back to reducing risk.
Because it does. Getting that real-time feedback, making decisions based on data, prioritizing features people actually want, it takes a lot of the guesswork and uncertainty out of it.
So, products launched, success. Is that it for research? Job done.
Not if you want lasting success. Post-launch research is vital.
Okay, what does that involve?
Tracking how the product's actually doing. Gathering ongoing feedback on customer satisfaction. Are people happy? Are there issues?
How do you gather that? Reviews.
Yep, monitoring online reviews is huge. Also, post-purchase surveys, engaging on social media, listening to what customer support is hearing.
So if lots of people find a feature confusing,
That feedback flags it. It tells you exactly where you need to improve in the next update or version.
it fuels continuous improvement.
Absolutely. Updates, upgrades, enhancements, it keeps the product relevant, competitive, and shows customers you're actually listening and improving it for them.
It sounds indispensable. But the article does mention challenges, right? It's not always smooth sailing.
Oh, definitely not. There are hurdles. One big one is just getting accurate representative data.
Garbage in, garbage out.
Sort of, yeah. If your sample isn't right or the data's old, your insights could be totally off. And things change so fast. Tech, trends.
So findings can become obsolete quickly.
They really can.
Wow.
You need to keep updating your understanding. It's like navigating with an old map. Sometimes there's a disconnect inside the company. The research team finds something important,
But the product team doesn't listen.
or they rely more on their own gut feelings, maybe. Or another pitfall is focusing only on the numbers, the quantitative stuff.
And missing the why.
Exactly. Missing the nuance from the qualitative insights.
Yeah.
You need both. Overcoming this takes good communication, real collaboration, and commitment from leadership to actually use the research.
Right. So wrapping this up, the big takeaway seems to be that market research isn't just a checkbox exercise at the start.
Absolutely not. It's this ongoing, living process. It's woven through everything. And doing it well dramatically boosts your chances of creating something people actually want and stick with.
And that stat really drives it home: 60% more likely to achieve higher satisfaction and long-term success if you do it comprehensively.
It's a compelling case, isn't it?
Definitely. So, something for you, the listener, to think about. These ideas of understanding needs, testing your assumptions, constantly getting feedback. How could that apply beyond just products? Maybe to projects you're working on, or even things in your personal life.
Yeah, what assumptions are you making? How could you get some feedback to make sure you're heading in the right direction?
Really thinking about the value of understanding your market, whatever that might be for you. Anyway, thanks for taking this deep dive with us.